Hello and welcome to today's episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. My name is Fagbeja, and today I'll be reading Flora's story. I just turned 48, and 2 years ago I took a decision that not only changed my life, but put me on a warpath that I never anticipated. I am friendly and extroverted and have always been. I got into the career train early because I graduated at the age of 20 with a second-class upper degree, and an accounting firm poached me right out of school. I built my profile and my career with them for 12 years. I took my ACCA exams, sponsored myself through a foreign master's degree, and attended several high-profile management courses, often self-sponsored too. I was passionate about my career, and I was driven to keep pushing myself further. After 12 years, I was headhunted by a multinational firm to head their West African regional operations, and my career profile has kept growing since then. I have always been very confident, and my parents have always encouraged my brother and I to stand up for ourselves and be clear about what we wanted. I have had several relationships, but somehow none of them worked out. In fact, all through my 20s, I was in a relationship at every point. My longest relationship lasted 2 years. It ended because my boyfriend felt that I would need to slow down on my career for us to build a family, and we could not reach a compromise. It's not that I felt I could not make adjustments, but he wanted me to cut back on my career for a while. And I didn't think that was the only solution, especially because many of my colleagues also worked and raised their children. I told him that we could work around things, but that didn't satisfy him, and so we broke up. I still remember him fondly because he was such a great guy, and apart from that issue, he was everything I wanted in a man. As I got higher up my career ladder, I realized that the number of men around me reduced. It wasn't just about me getting older, because I met people around my age or even slightly older at each stage, but many seemed intimidated by my achievements, and I even met one who told me outright that a relationship with me would not work because I earned so much more than him. I was surprised that people still held those kind of parochial views, especially in the circle of learned people with plenty of exposure. But I got to understand with time that many beliefs were deep-seated and difficult to change. I have been advised by well-meaning loved ones to tone down my lifestyle and not to appear too affluent so that men would not be intimidated. I'm not very flashy, but I don't think I need to live below my standard just to attract a man. I believe that a man who cannot accept me as I am is not worth my salt. My parents have always been a pillar, encouraging me to maximize my life and to explore, and to believe that at the right time I would find the right person. The only dilemma I faced as time went on was having children. I've always loved children and I wanted to have mine. When I turned 40, I began to explore the idea of egg freezing as a means of preserving my fertility. I was still hopeful that the right man would come along. Within that year, I went to Dubai and had my eggs harvested and frozen. Just after my 46th birthday, I decided that I could not wait any longer, so I went back, found a sperm donor from a bank, and had an IVF procedure. I only informed my parents, my brother, and my 2 closest friends before I went for the procedure. I stayed 3 months, and thankfully, I got pregnant immediately. When I took the decision, I knew there would be some backlash for being pregnant out of wedlock. What I did not expect was the level of disdain and moral upbraiding I would get, even from those who got to hear from me directly. I'm not a secretive person, so I did not hesitate to mention what I had done when I got into discussion with others. I also felt that talking about it would help women in my shoes by opening up the discussion. Instead, I soon found that I had opened myself up to severe judgment. When I got back, the first person I felt I owed an explanation to was my pastor. Even though I wasn't as active in church as I wanted to be because of my busy schedule, I was a prominent face, and so it was only right. My pastor and his wife were empathetic and understanding, and they were the first ones to give me an inkling of what was to come. They encouraged me to be open about it and advised me to be mentally prepared for the reactions that would follow. It was so hard. From family members to friends and acquaintances, I got criticism from all quarters. It seemed like it would have been better to say I got pregnant for a married man. People said I didn't even know the father of the child, and that made the child illegitimate. I cannot repeat some of the words that were used to describe my unborn baby. Some likened it to a prostitute being pregnant. I'm not even sure which was more shocking, the kind of people who were saying these things or the things they were saying. After a while, I decided to keep a low profile. When my daughter was born, I changed my church and I kept away from many social activities for her sake. I did not want her to grow up in an environment where people would be hostile because of her conception story. When the time is right, I will tell her what she needs to know in a way that she will understand. Until then, I need to protect her and to preserve my sanity so that I can raise her with the kind of love and attention she deserves. I hoped for twins, but since that didn't happen, I intend to have one more procedure in a few months' time. What do you think about Flora's story? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so, and do turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my stories.